Welcome back into the workshop again for a little bit of a, hopefully, brief update on the use of the track saw and this very fundamental gauge rod. It's quite often we'll be talking about different items and we can't come up with the correct name. I can't with this. I'm calling it a gauge rod because it's a bit of threaded rod with some dowels on it to, well, gauge my measurements rather than measure my measurements. Anyway, won't worry about that. Quite often we will call them in different scenarios, whether it would be joinery or out doing some elevations on a building. We call them a story rod, literally, because the rod or the stick will tell you a story of what you're trying to do. The first experience I had of that was on a building site, and then, it was to be using the story rod for placement of weatherboards. And then I did a little bit of joinery, and lo and behold, my friend John, who was showing me how to do the job, because I had no idea, he says, you just make a story rod. And I go, I know what that is. So that was good. I think there was another one that was not the same thing, but I think it's called See Jane Work or something, and this woman was showing a ticking stick, which is an interesting term. I've never heard it before, and she showed how you use it and the length and the shape and all the rest of it, and I thought, that's really clever, because it's not a measure, it's a static, well, you can call it a measure, but a static length stick and all the rest of it, and not unlike this in concept. You don't have to then go measure it when you're using it. So, it's set. Anyway, I'm going to give you a wee bit of an update on the use of this particular one and its sort of shortcomings and strengths. But when you are using this, you have to make sure it is right, and it is. But the problem with this is these are chromed or polished, I think they're chromed, dowels. And as such, you lose, pointing camera in right, get with the game, David. You have to be able to butt your tape or your rule up against one end, of course, and measure the other. Also, of course, and in doing so, these are bloody hard to actually see and measure correctly. And the amount of times I've, for whatever reason, self-doubt, gone to measure it again, it's wrong. And I look a bit more, and it's certainly wrong. Put my glasses on, and then I just move my head a certain way, and I go, there we go. It's because this pointing camera, come on. I should have a word with the producer. When you're measuring this particular circular item, it's a dowel, a steel dowel, the chromed nature of it, you see kind of different lighting and colour around the circumference of it, and you'll swear that the measurement is wrong. But when you actually put it up, and this is why I quite often, when I've been talking about it, I put it against a darker background, you can better see where your measurement comes. But still being chromed and shiny, it's bloody hard to read. And I thought to myself, why don't you paint it? Because the chrominess will no longer be there, even if I sanded it, I suppose. But if I painted it a dark colour, would that help? A matte colour probably would help, wouldn't it? Also, what happened if I made a square version of it? Might also help, because that roundness has its benefits, because it's, you've got a very finite point at the tangent point. When you're doing this, you can rock your gauge backwards and forwards, and when it meets that, it slips in place, you're pretty much dead square, and you've got the correct measurement being shown. But yeah, that was just one of those tiny little know your tools better, the one that I was bleating on about before by using the track rail itself with a physical square, which I think was like what everyone would have used prior to having these accessories. So as I said in the video, I'm late to the party. But this, good as it may be, has the downside of it being too bright and shiny and causing me to be self-doubting, which I don't need to do. And anyway, long story short, I know it's right. I can use it with confidence. I can put it like that, just tap it up against the splinter guard strip or splinter strip there, and then when it slips over the end of the material, I know I've got a micrometer accurate, I exaggerate, but a very accurate position for my track rail. Thank you very much. Off to the races, as they say. Anyway, might have to give these a bit of a matte black spray just to see whether my theory works, because after all, sometimes my good theories wind up in the bin. So I've got some black spray over there. I'll use it later on, and yeah, hopefully. Right, yeah, that's it. Very, very simple and short one. Very unusual for me, I know. Rightio, see you in the next one now. Bye.